thank you so much for Dr. Guruvayurappan having with us today from the Omega Healthcare. In fact, we've been looking at speaking slots since last 2 times. We could not get one is in Manila and the one the last year. Good to have you with us today. It has that like a great opportunity having you with us today.
Get my introduction. I'm Dr. Guru, I head HR for Omega Healthcare. Sincere thanks to Partha and Dr. Shiva for inviting me. They wanted me to talk about WFM, and WFM is not my core area, but definitely I had the experience to understand this from my colleagues and also how we implemented across our organization. So what I'm going to share in the next 10 to 20, 25 minutes is about the journey of implementing WFM in our organization and how we have seen that the journey from a transactional to a transformation. So that is something what we are going to experience today. So this is my very interesting quote. I love to see this quote here and there in my office: to do what you do best, outsource the rest. And the journey we started, in a couple of slides, when you see further, you will find the relevance to this particular quote. Anyway, it's not by me, this is by Peter Drucker. So just to give a brief, what is Omega Healthcare is all about. We are not a hospital, and we are also not a healthcare product company. So we are a service providers. When we call it ourselves service providers, we ourselves known as medical billing company, support the medical billing company in the US healthcare services. Basically, the US healthcare services has got 3 distinct, services. The services which is rendered to the patients, the services we render to the provider. The providers are the hospitals and the physicians, and the payers. The payers are the insurance company. And you will see the Omega logo as a middleman, and in the medical billing company act as the middleman between the providers and the payers. And Omega Healthcare works very closely with large medical billing companies to take up some of the key transactional activities as well as key solution aspects. So what are those key aspects are basically we can categorize in a business process management scenario, either under voice processes, under non-voice processes, or under knowledge processes. We have medical coding, that's a large knowledge processes. Omega is one of the largest medical coding company in the world. Then we do have the voice processes where we interact with the insurance companies to understand, hey, where are we in terms of collection for the doctors and hospitals for the services they rendered. So that is primarily the domain that we are in, and we have footsteps across India, few locations, and also in Philippines. Started in 2004, and we are currently about 16,000 employees. I have the fortunate to be with the organization for the past 14 plus years, from 500 employees to where we are currently, and from one facility to whatever the number of facilities. And very interestingly, why I am bringing this statistics to the participants here is to see that the journey, what we undertook at some point in time, how that helped us today, talking that WFM as a function, how it is matured over a period of time, like HR. When I started my career as a personal officer, doing a time office in register marking PPP or AAA, to how today we are using SAP or Oracle Cloud to understand the things. And those became a outsourceable job, and then HR has become a core function and strategic function. And that is the kind of a journey I am able to see WFM is taking, and then already taken in few organizations. So that is the reason I just wanted to walk you through the footprint. So before our journey started, some small people dynamics. I just wanted to ask, am I audible as well as am I visible to others? Because I'm not able to see myself.
Very much.
So hence I'm just checking. Okay.
Very perfect. Going perfect.
I just wanted to give you a snapshot that in the last 6 years, how we grew to 16,000 from 5,000 employees in 2013. Why there is a significance for 2013 also I will come back. It took about 10 years for us to reach 5,000, but in the next 5 years we have to almost double or triple the organization. And we had our own challenges. If you most of those of you are from the BPO, IT, ES companies will understand the span of control, and those who are from a different industry, definitely this will be a kind of an eye opener that for every 20 associates we have a supervisor, and for every 5 supervisors we have 1 manager, and for every 5 managers there is a kind of service delivery head role. This means for every 1,000 employees, if I am adding, there is a need for X number of supervisors and managers in the organization. And parallelly, I just also wanted to talk about the challenges of this kind of growth. Because while the industry itself is growing at a CAGR of about 20 to 25%, we were also growing at the same rate or little higher than that. That means the talent available in the market for me to either hire for production or for leadership was a major challenge. And we started seeing the misses between 2011 2012, and those challenges, the talent landscape, I'm not getting into it. Quality of output, naturally how the clients are started responding, wanted to look at the second vendor, that is a queue for us, and the bold one, employee turnover. How do we retain employees? And the right capacity, somewhere we have similar agents in client A, but we will be hiring client B, some agents. We will not be able to understand that there's a surplus staff I could have utilized in other location, etc. And where some people are sitting in bench, they are impatient, they go. So the right capacity requirement also has actually impacted the work culture, either overtime or incentives kind of a thing, and resulting a disengaged employee. Ultimately, the business performance and margins are become the discussions. So what was the major point of discussion those days were, hey, how do we arrest employee turnover? What we can do to increase the margins, etc. So looking at this challenge, this is when Omega WFM Journey started. Our brainstorm has created really okay. We have definitely leaders who are homegrown. Just to give you a perspective, the 92% of our supervisors and managers are homegrown in the company. We have seldom people hired from outside. So this is the time we started looking at bringing leaders from outside who come with the business knowledge, and we have domain experts in the organization, converge those kind of things. And in that particular journey, we understand that we need to take a specific approach and to have a specific framework and definitely expected outcome for that. So when the growth requires, what are the things that maybe HR was doing or operations was doing or finance was doing, or for that matter transition management office was doing, we realized that there is some need for absolute understanding of a framework. Again, I love to quote Michael Dell here. He told, hey, you don't have to be a genius or a visionary or even a college graduate to be successful. Right? So you just need a framework and a dream. So all that we did that, hey, what is that framework? What is that dream that we need to have to be successful? And the answer was, hey, there are need for us to create both standardize our processes as well as capabilities, nurture our process mindset as well as internal culture. At the same time, we also have to have informed decisions with data, and in order to take that, there is right leadership required. So this became two different requirements. One, the birth of a hardcore learning and development function, and the birth of a workforce management function. So if we look at our approach, 2013 Jan timeframe, we started our WFM function. Between 15 and 18, the function got matured. And I am going to talk about something what we did in the last 1 year, where we saw that the WFM has not only become an integral part of our organization, but it became a value creator. So when we looked at 2013-14, though I have listed out some of the requirements, these are all the these are all the outcome that we received at maybe reports or shift adherence or shrinkage. But the 4 or 5 things our head of WFM was talking to me at that point in time was, hey, how do we understand the forecast? What is the kind of a volume that we are going to get? What kind of a right sizing? What we are talking about, the resource planning, staffing and scheduling. All these things I used to tell him as an HR head, boss, all these things are there in our organization. But he challenged me, it is there. But there is a need for standardization. So I would like to acknowledge, Mr. Narayanan, who was our WFM head at that point. He continued to be there. He's still our WFM head. But I don't know, I got the opportunity to talk here. Probably he may be bringing it up tomorrow in our award ceremony presentation. The real-time adherence and also the analytics. This is something which we wanted to do, and that journey has really done a lot of Excel work, and then coordination work was happening. And in the last 3-4 years, what it also did is, it not only just created some kind of data representation, but also started giving them the required support, decision support systems internally. It became an integral part of the management. There are representatives from WFM who will be interacting with the service delivery heads and the business heads in terms of not only the profitability part, in terms of top line and bottom line, but also are we rightly staffed? What kind of capabilities at this point in time we have? And the function called WFM has become any other mainstream function in our organization, and they had a table to discuss and then deliberate. That really has that was the situation at which I had the opportunity to head this function for a year. It was good old days in HR, we call it manpower planning, and then we do so many juggling of things. So they had a science behind each and every activity. And when I interacted with the team, I was trying to check with them. Okay, we are creating so many reports, we are creating so many data points. How are we using these data? So the best practice, or once we have spoken about the approach, I would like to just see that how the framework we really applied for this particular activity. So what we did is, we looked at in the last 18 months, hey, whatever the data we have, unless this data creates some kind of tangible outcome which originally we had a problem statement as, that is one, employee retention or client retention, and on the other side profit maximization. These two, if we are not able to visualize and then we are getting it, all this data is not going to make any sense to us at this point in time. So this two-pronged approach, on one side the efficiency and on the other side the effectiveness, doing the right thing as well as doing right things as well as things right. So things right is something which we can automate, technology that keeps doing the things right. So the process efficiency, a lot of automation we focused on, but doing things right, where the personal effectiveness is something which is we started focusing. Here what we did, definitely from a transaction, most of your workforce planning people, you can see the kind of data every day our team creates from a WFM perspective. And the click of a button, plenty of analytics keeps coming also. But what am I doing with those analytics? And do operations team have time to sit and work on that analysis, or over a period of time it became HR baby or a WFM baby to look at that analysis and then action it? So this is where in the last 18 months the workforce planning team, workforce management team really did a fantastic value addition to the organization. The type of value addition what they have done is looking at one side the process automations, and then I have limited time, but I just wanted to give you a small analogy. Most of you this is the right time to give that analogy. I will not take much time. In our Indian mythology, we have something called two types of law for attaining moksha or salvation. One, we call it as law of cat, or the other one is the law of monkey. We call it as Markadaka Nyaya or Marjara Nyaya. What is this Markadaka Nyaya? Markadaka means monkey and Marjara means cat. So this says, hey, if you look at a monkey, the baby monkey, when the mother monkey is moving, mother monkey has absolutely no botheration about whether the baby monkey is safe or not. It is the responsibility of baby monkey to catch hold of mother, and then even if it is jumping from one tree to the other tree, mother monkey is very casual. It is the responsibility of baby monkey. If he is not holding properly, it will fall and it will keep on moving. Whereas the cat on the other side will never allow the baby monkey to be taken care of. It catch hold of his baby, wherever it moves, it ensures that the mother takes care of the baby. One by one it catches and then reaches the destination. So I was looking at the transactional mode of WFM in the the whole transaction piece. When we were keep generating data, we were thinking that it is important that I have to give this data to the operations people, business, and people they think that it is a routine thing. So, oh, okay, if today morning I need to generate something, will come. So it became an automatic routine that we need to generate some data, and then the business, whether it is looking into it or not, also we do not know, or how they interpret also we do not know. So then when we thought, okay, we will do all the data representations in the microsites internally. If you want, you look at it. If you don't want, you don't look at it. We will create it and then put it in the right places. Now we will not get into the day-to-day data requirements part. That is supposed to be for you. If you want, you will be looking at it. So I moved from Marjara to Markada. Then I said, hey, I am now going to sit with you as a consultant, business partner, and I am going to ask you a few questions. So we created my entire WFM leaders to start coaching the business and kind of a consultant with the businesses. So if this is the kind of thing, what is happening? Are we not, wasting? For a simple example, I used to, one example I will take. WFM used to give me every day X number of X percentage of people are in the poor performance, partially meet expectation or needs improvement category. Month on month, the dashboard will come, even client wise. HR also receives, we keep it, and then again, we'll send it to business. But business needs at least 2 hands and 2 legs to run the business. They are not least bothered. At least if you ask this guy one question, he will also vanish. Our attrition is at about 3.5% per month. That means for 10,000 or 15,000 employees, every month 500 people will join, 600 people will go, or 600 people will join, 500 people will go. So operations need somebody in the floor. So they were not taking very serious about the kind of reports. This is where they started partnering with not only the service delivery heads, but also with HR business partners. And they ensure that these people's score is moving from needs improvement to PME or partially meet expectation to completely meet expectation. And even if it is completely meet expectation, how do they move to above expectations by coordinating with not only HR business partners, but also with the learning and development team if required, or the process coaches if required, and track the skill sets required. This is where, I felt that it is immediately after this, we have a session on reskilling and, upskilling kind of a thing. WFM actually started showing the value that they have created by partnering with them in terms of, in business language, reduction in the attrition. I am not getting into the data presentation is available tomorrow. So I'm just giving you the way WFM is looked at by the business in the past. The way they looked at HR guys in the past, those who are from manufacturing will be able to visualize that. I started my career in manufacturing. We were only a timekeeper or an office, welfare officer's role, where we reached a kind of seat next to the board. So how that has happened, that is the kind of a value that workforce planning, workforce management team is creating waves in the function. So one side the process automation happened, the other side the empowered teams. The empowerment has really created values in terms of not only the profitability, but also elimination of a lot of waste, the retention that otherwise I would have put them on performance improvement plan and then moved them out of the organization. And those are all the people who started contributing to the organization. I think that is something which really my 5 years back, what was a challenge, that talent landscape or retention or maybe profitability. Truly the workforce management has ensured that partnering with the right functions within the organization, making the right people, the kind of a skill publication what we do. WFM does a fantastic job of collecting the, I may be called as a medical coder, but within medical coding, there are about 20 to 25 different specialities. And they, on a click of a button, this team will be able to tell me today, Guru, if there is a new business coming, we have got X number of specialists available, but they are all not engaged at this point in time in a different product they are engaged. But earlier, we would have never given an opportunity for internal talent to move into these kind of roles. And the outcome that I'm seeing and we have visualized in the organization is absolute focus on employees. I'm not getting into the seat metrics or seat utilization or in the COVID situation, what they have done, etc. Because if I have to get into that, it is another 1.5 hours we need to speak. But the kind of contribution they have done, the complete focus on an individual employee in an organization, WFM has become a dictionary in the organization for everybody. And the key drivers for engagement, we talked about disengagement at some point in time. The engagement levers, how they get us the right information on the platform and make us to take the right decision. That is incredible that they have provided. And also the other side, I have seen, hey, HR guys are good at few things, and operations are also extremely good at something. But when we are not good at few things, collaborating with the right people is very good. So what I have seen is made the WFMS the other side of HR's point. So we partner in such a way that every decision when we are taking, we have the collaborative forum in which we will have discussions. For a simple COVID situation that we need to deploy a system to a work from home office. Out of about 16,000 employees, now we are about 13,000 odd of them is working from home. We don't have volume to engage another 2,000 at this point in time. But the deployment happened in the first 15 days of lockdown, that is between March 24th and 10th of April. The tremendous amount of possibilities for admin or HR or the operations to deploy, it would have never happened had we had the appropriate data with workforce management team. So that is the kind of role that they have played, and then they continue to play. That the value derived is finally whatever is the right side corner bottom line up. So our profitability increases. Just to conclude, we spoke about the growth challenges. I also talked about the WFM as a special function introduced in 2013, and the function, how it had its own journey in our organization from transaction-based reporting and MIS function to start with, and then became an integral part of the business. We also spoke about how the integral part of the business that moved as that particular part to the value creator of the same business as a business consultant, and truly function which every other function is looked upon at this point in time through both creation of efficiency and empowerment in the system, effectiveness, one side on the personal effectiveness, and on the other side the technology efficiency improvement. This is the nutshell of what success that WFM has created in Omega. Now, to tag this back to my number game, had the organization were not growing, I do not know the subject. So year on year, on an average net addition of headcount of 1,000 to 1,500 employees in the last 5 years, or maybe up to 2,000 employees in the last 5 years. That too with attrition of 3.5%. That means on an average 5,000 to 6,000 employees hiring every year, and out of that about 4,000 is leaving. We never had a single miss on identification of whether the existing business growing, or the new business is growing, or we are hiring for the attrition backfill. The kind of productivity norms they have set in, the kind of glide path for a fresher when they join, when it is happening, and monitoring that and then reporting back to the organization, and the visibility for next 3 to 4 months for the forecast, that really helped us well in advance to plan and hire people. Those are actually being looked at as one of the best practices. What we faced in 2012 or 2011, we never faced in the last 5 to 6 years, and the scalability at which we have grown and we will be able to grow. I definitely my final word is that WFM has a fantastic role to play in making the scalability in the organization. That's all from my side. Thank you for this opportunity. I do not know whether I've taken more time or less time, but I'm more than happy to address if you have any questions. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Dr. Guru, for having you with us in International WFM Summit as a keynote speaker. It's really immense knowledge sharing from the Omega healthcare perspective. A lot of learning aspects from the development and also the kind of growth that you have created in Omega. It's immense learning for all of us.